several hundred centuries, some entered Roman territory at different times, some stayed outside of Roman territory. The critics, who deny the Ten Kingdom division of Rome, do so with a fixation on the individual roving tribes themselves in an attempt to make things confusing. To identify the 10 horns we must follow guidelines. 1. They must have been a recognized part, in some position of authority, in the Western Roman Empire itself, established on Roman soil as an ally, not just an enemy. 2. Since the Bible says they are kings, they must have some sort of kingdom. They cannot be just a transient wandering band that destroys and then vanishes. They must be considered federated, that is a recognized state within the Roman Empire itself, with autonomy, yet with obligations to Rome. 3. To destroy a horn does not necessarily mean to totally wipe out a tribe. It means that a kingdom is destroyed. 4. The kingdoms should be in existence all at the same time. 476, when centralized Western Rome fell. By the 4th century, the restless wandering of the German people, attended by conquests and alliances, had led to the formation of several more or less clearly defined nations, each composed of an amalgamation or federation of smaller tribes. A survey of European civilization, 146, for Hugesen and Bruin. According to historical maps, in 476 the kingdoms in the Western Roman Empire were as follows, from east to west. 1. The kingdom of the Ostrogoths, in the area of former Yugoslavia. 2. The kingdom of Odovacar, who was a powerful chieftain of the Heruli, the Siri, and the Rugi. He and his troops were mercenaries in the service of Rome. In the year 476 Odovacar, with his Heruli troops, took control of Italy. 3. The kingdom of the Burgundians north/west of Italy. 4. The kingdom of the Franks, who were still up in the Netherland region in 476. 5. The kingdom of Syagrius in the Belgian, northern France region. This kingdom was still a Roman kingdom, which would be overrun by the Franks in 486. 6. The kingdom of the Visigoths extended over France and into Spain. 7. The kingdom of the Sueves was located in northern Portugal and Spain. 8. The Basques, in northern Spain and southern France, had their roots deep, long before Rome's decline. 9. The kingdom of the Vandals, in northern Africa. 10. The kingdom of the Anglo-Saxons, in England. 11. The Alemanni, on the west bank of the Rhine. So if one dismisses the Roman kingdom, Syagrius, which was still part of the old regime, and that was soon to fall into the hands of the Franks, we have 10 kingdoms established in the Western Roman Empire itself, on the date given as its fall in 476 AD. What about the other kingdoms often cited? And they were already defeated by 476. Heruli, Rugians and Siri were all part of Odovacar's kingdom. Thuringians, they weren't within Roman territory, but north of it. Alani, they had joined the Vandals and were part of that kingdom. Gepids, they were in the Eastern Empire. Lombards, they came about 100 years later, in 568. Bavarians, they had not yet established themselves. They came 490, 520. The Little Horn had 3 horns, uprooted in its rise to power. Since the European tribes are in constant transition, conquering and moving, or being absorbed into a kingdom, we can again become confused. What guidelines do we follow in determining who these horns are which are uprooted? Some have suggested the uprooting of all Aryan tribes. Yes, that may play a part, but there were more than 3 Aryan nations. The logical guideline here would be to focus on the throne in the city of Rome. To free this center of authority from too powerful a secular king would leave the seat of Rome free for the stouter horn, the papacy, to take that seat of authority, making this the main reasons for the uprooting of 3 horns. 1. Odovacar as the first uprooted horn. Thus it's very logical to see the first horn that must be uprooted as the king that took control of Italy in 476, Odovacar, that powerful chieftain of the Heruli, the Siri, and the Rugi, who had conquered Italy and obtained a written abduction from the boy emperor. Even though he sought the sanction of the Eastern Emperor and acknowledged the Emperor Zeno as above himself, and was given Roman recognition as the patrician of Rome, the plot was decreed to uproot him. 2. Another horn that was uprooted. The Ostrogoths were settled in Roman territory to the east of Italy as Feodorati, allies of the Roman Empire. The Byzantine Emperor Zeno commissioned the Ostrogoth king Theodoric to dethrone Odoacer. This Theodoric accomplished in 493 AD, and now the Ostrogoths were in control of all of Italy, including Rome. According to Gibbons, Theodoric assumed under the hereditary title of king the whole substance and plenitude of imperial prerogative. He celebrated in pompous style the harmony of the two republics, applauded his own government as the perfect similitude of a sole and undivided empire, and claimed above the kings of the earth the same preeminence, which he modestly allowed to the person or rank of Anastasius. The Eastern Emperor, chapter 39 paragraph 3. So we see the Ostrogoths, with considerable power not only in Italy, but ranging out over the Western Empire. Gibbons says, he maintained with a powerful hand the balance of the West. Of course, that horn too must be uprooted before the papacy could have full control of the seat in Rome. And so it was uprooted by the decree of Justinian, and under the direction of Valerius. The city of Rome was reconquered in 538. Belisarius and his army came to Rome in 537. The garrison of 4,000 Goths, feeling they could not defend the city, simply took off, and Belisarius marched right into the city. The Pope Silverius and the Senate begged Belisarius to treat Rome as an open city, but Belisarius turned it into a fortification. Some have maintained that Rome was taken in 537 because Belisarius was inside it, not 538, but in 537 the war for Rome was just beginning, as we shall see. Witiges with his Gothic army team marched on Rome and besieged the city. The siege began in 537 and lasted over a year. Rome suffered greatly from hunger and no authority over anything. It was during this time that Pope Silverius was accused of plotting with the Goths and deposed. Vigilius became Pope officially in November 537. So this was hardly the year any papal authority was established. It was in 538 that Witiges, the leader of the Goths, finally withdrew his armies that were besieging Rome and marched northward to Ravenna, the Gothic capital. Thus it was in 538 that Rome was won, not in 537. Obviously, just as Rome was not built in one day, so Roman papal authority was not built in one day. However, all historians know that there are dates that mark a turning point. 538 is such a date, for it marked the beginning of the papacy being given the seat of authority in Rome. In 538 Rome was freed of barbarian rule. The emperor was over in Constantinople, thus leaving the seat of Rome free for the papacy. The Ostrogoths' power was completely broken in the rest of Italy by about 555. Yes, there were a few skirmishes over the city of Rome itself, yet between 538 and 555, but they were of short duration. 3. A third horn uprooted. The third horn uprooted was the Vandals, a very strong power which had flourished for nearly a century to the south of Italy. That kingdom was destroyed in 534 also by Belisarius. If only the Ostrogoth horn had been removed and not the Vandals, those powerful Vandals would have rapidly taken over Italy. They had sacked Rome once before in 455. It is interesting to see a historical map of 560 AD. After the third horn, the Ostrogoths was entirely defeated. Italy, from its northern border to the islands in the south and across the sea to Carthage, is all under the control of Rome once more. Yet no emperor resides there. 1. Lombards have set up their kingdom northeast of Italy. 2. Franks have greatly enlarged their kingdom, bringing the Alemanni and Burgundians into their kingdom. 3. Visigoth's kingdom takes up the greater portion of Spain. 4. Suevi kingdom in Portugal and north/west Spain. 5. Basques in northern Spain. 6. Anglo-Saxons kingdom is in England. 7. Bavarian, a combination of Germanic, Celtic peoples, is just north of Italy. Interestingly, though change has occurred, only 7 kingdoms are mentioned. In Daniel chapter 2 it describes the division as 10, even to the end, and as we see the rising and falling of the various kingdoms throughout the history of the former Western Roman Empire, we see that 10 is a good, rounded number to describe the divisions at any one time. Now today you are looking at the deadly wound as it is healed. The European Union have reformed the 10 horns of Daniel 7. Now Revelation says, when you see these kings, know that the time is near for his coming. The European Union is the 10 toes of the Daniel 7 dream. So here is wisdom. Let them that have understanding know the very end days are at hand. The stone that is cut out and that strike the image on the feet is Christ. He will destroy all the kings of the earth and take the earth back over and set his kingdom on the earth forevermore. This was another lesson brought to you by The Watchman.